Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham Day with a fresh haircut, and this man is Baby with brown sauce in his beard.
Did have brown sauce in my beard. I've just realised that I've got water all down the front of my shirt now from washing my beard, so it looks like I'm sweating profusely. But I can promise you, it was just brown sauce in the beard.
I can promise you, I can confirm, Bibby is not sweating profusely. He is just dribbling. It's fine. That's all it is.
Yeah, well, that's a good way of saying it.
Bibby's quiet. He always is. Let me.
Never silence me.
Okay, say. Well, I can't find my. Okay, keep saying stuff, babe. Tell us, what did you get up to yesterday?
So yes, I went house shopping, but not shopping for houses. I've got a house. I'm moving in 12 days. But I needed to buy stuff for the house. So my bedroom here is now full of shit. You literally can't move. Downstairs, in the kitchen, also full of shit. Can't move. Other bedroom, can't move. Landing, can't move. Bottom of the stairs, can't move.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Yeah, my current house is full of shit that I am now hoarding to the new house, which is also going to be full of shit.
Sounds fun.
Mm-hmm. I've never had to move. Well, sorry, I've had to move house once as a conscious human being, and that was when I lived with my mum. We moved from one house to the house at the top of the road. But now, actually moving everything that I own into a new house is a little bit daunting.
I moved into a flat unit, moved back home after that, and then moved here. And I hate just like piling shit into cars because we didn't do the moving van thing. We just did like 1,000,001 trips. The worst one was like moving from Huddersfield to Manchester with nothing but a Ford Fiesta because it was just like 27 trips later. It was horrendous. So yeah, I relate, and I'm never ever going to move again. Ever. This is the house I will always live in just because I can't be arsed with that shit. But anyway, good morning to everyone in the chat. Don't bite me, bro. Says, sup, boys? Madge with an emote that sounds like this.
Hello.
There we go. Baby's quiet says NX. Hopefully it's fixed now. I've literally just maxed him out now, so hopefully that sounds all right. Madge says morning. Very ish today. Heck up. It's still not my styling kind of thing. I've got like shitloads of. Do you know when you get your hair done in the salon and they kind of like, do you want some wax on it or whatever? And I go, yeah. And then they just do it in a way that doesn't suit you or you don't like it. Well, yeah, that's this morning. But because of how ish it was at 10 a.m. ish, I just didn't bother doing it. I thought we'll jump on, we'll get things out of the way, and then I'll sort out the hair situation later on. But anyway, Ian2K as well. Good morning. How the devil are you, sir? Chucky in the chat. Just hire a removal company. I'll just hire Bib. It's fine. Bib can do it. Bib can move everything. He clearly loves it. He's in for it. The lads.
Where I'm living now, I'm moving to again the top of the street. It's literally about 16, 17 doors up from where I live now. So hiring a removal company probably isn't going to be the best thing. I'll just hire a van from Enterprise or something and just shove everything in there. We only need a van really for like the sofas, and because we're not taking the wardrobes, they're all going to the tip. And just that we get a brand new bed, brand new fridge. With all of those are being delivered by the company that we're buying them from. So it's literally just a case of moving, like my PC, my current PC desk, all my games, shit.
Just sit on your chair, PC on your lap, and then just backpedal it up the street. Yeah.
Literally, you can do that from where I live. So yeah, it's great.
Anyway, good morning, everyone in the chat. We do have a lot of people in. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I had to check the calendar as I said that. Hey, morning. For those of you that don't know myself, I'm Graham, and this is the man that we call Baby, and we together are Ice Cream Uploads. In true ice creamy fashion, this is your scoop, your daily dose of news, your daily dose of news from the world of video games. A daily dose of news. Anyway, this is the daily dose of news from the world of video games and beyond, bringing you the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories in what some people describe as the UK's #1 video games podcast. We're the ones that describe it like that. But then we give you our thoughts and impressions on the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games. And we want your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. Create a little bit of dialogue, backwards and forwards, and it's important that we do that because we turn this into a YouTube video and an audio podcast that goes on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play a little bit later on the day. So if you are in the chat, as you guys already are doing, you didn't need me to tell you to do it, feel free to get involved. Feel free to throw your voice into the conversation on behalf of everyone watching on demand. And if you are watching or listening on demand, hey, how you doing? Hey. But let's jump into the news. Let's jump into the news. Partially because we start at 10 a.m. ish, and we have Masters of the League following this, but also because we've got some interesting stories to jump into. If you follow us on Twitter, you will have seen what we are leading with. Let me just jump into the scoop split screen. And the first news story of the day, there we go, is that former Bungie executive says Destiny deal with Activision was as bad as we thought it would be. Written by Nunneley for VG247. The article goes on to say, ex-Bungie board member and composer Marty O'Donnell has said Bungie's deal with Activision was as bad as we thought it would be. According to an interview O'Donnell did with Hidden Xperia YouTube channel, the Bungie partnership with Activision was made in order for the firm to have control over the IP, as other big players during that period would not agree to do that, including Microsoft. From the start, O'Donnell had reservations about signing the deal, but since the firm promised Bungie total control over the Destiny IP, a deal was ultimately made. However, over the course of the relationship, both companies had different goals for what Destiny was supposed to be, and ultimately, the partnership dissolved. Despite being portrayed as an amicable split, even, it was not a marriage made in heaven, according to O'Donnell. We're scrolling. There we go. Because I was in leadership and on the board of directors when we went with Activision, if there is any blame for going to Activision, I am part of it, he said. There were several of us total, I think, that made that deal with Activision. We knew it was a risk right from the get-go, and it turned out to be exactly as bad as we thought it would be. I am the only one who is going to say that, except anyone who no longer works for Bungie, and anyone who no longer works for Bungie is going to say, yeah, it was bad from the start. We launched this franchise with Activision naturally, and over the course of time, we both decided we had different goals for what we wanted it to be, so we both went our separate ways. Bungie and Activision parted ways in 2019, with the developer gaining full publishing rights to the Destiny franchise. Activision signed a 10-year deal in 2010 with a studio to publish Destiny. The contract was an exclusive 10-year partnership with Activision holding exclusive worldwide rights to publish and distribute all future Bungie games based on the IP. That is an interesting story to lead with, particularly factoring in what we were talking about yesterday. Yesterday we were talking about Warner Brothers Interactive is on the market. It's been discussed already that the likes of Take-Two, EA, Microsoft are in the conversation of potentially being interested in taking over it, but Activision are in there. And we were kind of throwing thoughts around, saying there was positives and negatives for all of the brands that were going in for it, but Activision kind of almost came out of that conversation unscathed. EA got a lot of negative conversation around it, which obviously we spoke through. The same thing with 2K and the gambling elements that I wasn't even aware of in the NBA games. And Activision, we kind of said, yeah, they've clearly done that with CODs and stuff, but they're learning, they're getting better. But is that just a bit of cosmetic stuff on top of everything? I mean, would we want the likes of Activision to get hold of things like Warner Brothers titles, like Batman, like Harry Potter RPG potentially, if developers like Bungie say that working with them was basically a shit show? I mean, what are your thoughts, babe?
Well, I actually thought this might have been a really good deal for Destiny. Well, it was a good deal in terms of what potentially could have been handed over money-wise to help them propel Destiny into an IP that people are familiar with, and it's done the job. Like, Destiny is a big IP. There's no getting away from that. So I thought it would have been a marriage made in heaven. However, according to this, apparently it's not. I mean, there was a load of when they actually split the partnership up last year. There was a lot of people are saying it wasn't all roses, but there was nothing official that came out to say, well, they never would do. Well, they never burned that bridge again, saying it was a travesty. We didn't have any kind of control over it. But there was a lot of rumors. If you believe everything that you read on Reddit, it wasn't what Bungie wanted. And this kind of breaks it down a little bit more as to what happened behind the scenes. So I thought the Activision partnership would have been beneficial for them, and to a degree, it has, because it is a household name. Destiny in the, if we can call it the MMO world, because that's kind of what it is a household name. It's up there with some of the best. So yeah, I think it has done a lot of good for them. There will be things that the Bungie would never have agreed to, but they would have had to push forward because of Activision. If you two people own the same thing, then there will be disagreements. Unfortunately, it's not, both people aren't going to get their own way every single time, and there will have to be instances where you'll have to concede and just go with whatever the other person says or wants. You can give them that one because you might get one back in return, kind of thing. So it was a shared experience. But I think Activision, as a grand on the grand scheme of things, have done a good thing for Bungie. They've made Destiny into what it was as an IP, maybe not gameplay wise. And I think a lot of people in the Destiny community probably agree that the best thing for Destiny was for them to get away from Activision now that the game is a household name and just go with whatever they think is the best foot forward for their game. And arguably, over the last 12 to 18 months, you've seen Destiny go on to bigger and better things. So I think starting out, it needed the Activision, it needed someone to come in and help them out. And I think Activision did that. I think they've helped them out at least 60% of the way. If you are affiliated with Activision in any way, shape, or form, your brand, your IP will get noticed. And I think that's exactly what they wanted. And that's what they've got. But they've got their own ideas and it seems to be working for them now. Fair enough, it was a shit show behind the scenes, but I think everybody's won out with this. I think Activision would have made a lot of money off it, and they definitely would have got a lot of money from Bungie to move in their own direction as well. So I think it worked for everyone.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting as well, thinking like if it was as bad as we thought it to be, and if he's saying that only people that don't work for Bungie anymore would openly say how bad Activision is, he's not really going into the details there, though. I mean, maybe he does on the actual video, but you'd have expected if he does go into any details, it would have been padded out in this article. They would have the details in there. So, I mean, what are they talking about? Is it the commercial sort of angle, like the taking the loot boxy sort of element? I mean, that with Activision has done with other games. Is it that? But like you say, is that a necessary evil for Activision, for Destiny to have achieved what it has? Because I know when the game first launched, I remember. I mean, even pre-launch, because it obviously didn't. It launched and then got better as it went on, kind of thing. But before it launched, I remember Destiny being at EGX, and it was huge in terms of the hype and the coverage around it. And not that Bungie was small. Bungie have made a half reasonable game before, but yeah, not that Bungie was small, but Activision are a completely different beast. And with Activision's might behind it, with what Activision can do, like you said, Destiny was made for that. So yes, it was as bad as we thought it to be, as they say in that. But that's easy to say in hindsight. When you're gifted the world, it's easy to get a lot of negatives with that. I mean, what they say, quid pro quo. We give you all of the placement that you get for being an Activision brand. You take over a lot of the artwork at E3, at EGX, at MCMs, at wherever. You have huge stands where you can go to an event and have like those photograph sort of things where you can get on, like, what are those little bikey things in Destiny? Or am I getting that mixed up with Star Wars? I don't know. Either way,
No, you are right. No, you are. Yeah. I can't remember what they're called.
But you could. There was a photo opportunity at EGX where you could get on those. The reason I said I'm getting it mixed up with Star Wars is because there wasn't one of those as well a few years later at Gamescom for Star Wars. But
Sparrow. There you go.
Sparrow.
That's him,
Hey. So there was a photo opportunity where you can get on a Sparrow at EGX. I mean, not that that's a major thing, but that's an expensive luxury. That photo opportunity, making sure that's plastered to Facebook, which adds marketing, which makes it gets plastered to Twitter, which adds marketing. Those stands aren't cheap. And to have just the floor space for that at an EGX or a Gamescom or wherever costs a shitload, and Activision adds that to it. So yes, the relationship was bad as it was thought to be, as you thought it would be when it came to content as things went on through time. But the only reason you're still having those conversations as you go through time, the only reason you're still relevant and existing as you go through time is because you have an absolute wealth of players in the
Mm.
game. So is it a necessary evil? Is it kind of like making a deal with the devil? Yes, you make a deal with the devil and you get all you dreamed of, but you have to deal with the devil then afterwards.
Yeah.
So is it? I don't know. What are your thoughts? I mean, would you, if you had a game that by all rights was good enough to be successful. And when I say successful, I mean like top tier successful.
Hmm.
Um, Continued service. Would you give up some of your not the core the core makeup of the game, not the mechanics in that sort of way, but the mechanics in terms of the continued service and maybe if it's transactional based decisions, would you give up some of those for the idea of having a game that's been successful for the best part of 10 years or a series that's been successful for the best part of 10 years? I imagine most people would. Uh,
Oh yeah, I definitely think you would. I mean, I agree with Madge there. My Destiny experience was tainted because one, I was playing Destiny on my own, which is never a good way to play a game like that.
Same.
And two, it had no content at the beginning of it. There was very little to do in the opening couple of months of that game, which then tainted my experience to not play Destiny for until Destiny 2, until it became free to play. And I had the opportunity to then play it again without having to fork any money forward like I did initially. And then Destiny 2, I played solidly for about 3 months. I absolutely love that game. I still got it installed on my PC. I've just not gone back to it. Very same as ESO. I haven't played that for about a month now. But those kind of games, I do have a massive affection for. The absolute grind and the want to get better gear and the PvP and the PvE elements of it are fantastic. I absolutely love those. But I think when they signed over their IP to be shared, they knew what they was getting into, especially with the likes of Activision. Activision are not just uh, a company that will, it's a recognizable company. As I said, if you get into bed with Activision, people are going to take notice of your game, and that's exactly what they wanted for a game to come out and not have the best launch originally when the first game came out. That said a lot, and it kind of again tainted my experience from it, which is why I didn't go back to it. But it's got better and better and better and better over time. Arguably even better since they left Activision. So I think they got exactly what they wanted out of the relationship. Um, Whether or not that was left on a sour note, I don't know. I don't know how much they had to pay to get themselves out of that, or it just that the contract expired, so they could go on their own. I'm not too sure whether they had to buy themselves out or what.
The thing is that, like, even having to pay yourself out of it, the reason you can do that is because you've got Destiny as a title that churns money over and you can build on that going forward. So the reason they can buy themselves out of it is because they were in it in the first place. Destiny has made so much money and has the potential to make so much more money that they'd be comfortable getting into debt to have ownership of it because if they do it correctly, then they will be able to buy the way out of it comfortably, providing that it's all the negatives that are being pushed onto Activision aren't anything to do with Bungie themselves. But they wouldn't be in a position to buy the way out of it if they didn't have Activision's spot in the first place. So essentially, yes, it's going to cost them a lot to get out, but they're getting that money because Activision made it pop.
Yeah.
Uh, so
Oh, yeah, they made the brand stronger for them, didn't they? So if they did have to pay more to get themselves out of it, then it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? You know what I mean? They've made your IP into an absolute powerhouse in the first person MMO community. There isn't many games that can say that. What game has kind of tried that? It's not an FPS, but Anthem have recently tried that, and look what happened to that. No one even knows if that servers are still on for that anymore. So if you're going toe to toe with the likes of Anthem, I mean, it's not it's a no contest really, but you are still an absolute powerhouse in the. Again, I'm not entirely sure if it's classed as an MMO, but I would personally class it as that. It you are up there with the likes of World of Warcraft. You are up there with the likes of Elder Scrolls Online. Lord of the Rings is making a massive comeback into the MMO community. I'm not sure whether or not it will do well. Again, that's a game that I played 7 years ago, maybe. It wasn't that great then, but apparently it's making a massive comeback now. So the MMO world is going to get stronger, and Destiny will be up there as the things to try and aim for now, where rather than the likes of Warcraft, especially if you are going toe to toe with those.
Sparrow says a former Des Tony 2 addict, although Des Tony sounds great. I mean, Des Tony sounds like two Onlyfools and horses like characters in the background. You've got Del Boy and Rodders, and then you've got Des and Tony, just kind of like two blokes in the pub. All right, Des Tony. Mad says, me and a pal pre-ordered the, actually before that, Destiny launched to not much content. Shame, but it was 6 months too early. I agree with that as well. It says, me and a pal pre-ordered the top of the range edition of Destiny. I barely touched it because of that terrible launch experience. Then the whole thing with Dinklage being removed entirely was a shambles. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I have this. I've just reached over to my drawer, grabbed my PS4 copy of Destiny. Let's look at the front of the case. Over 180 awards and nominations. Don't get me wrong. Development obviously has a huge part in that, clearly. So Bungie earn their fair share of 180 awards, but PR and marketing for that, quite often you can win awards just because it's marketed in the right way. It's not necessarily all entirely down to the game itself. Would be fickle to believe that the game with the best audio wins the best audio award. It's the game with the best audio that's marketed better than the others in a way to express that audio has a better chance of winning the award. And even that can be shown with the awards at the end of the year. I think Call of Duty almost took a clean sweep for the best in-game audio. Not that it's bad, but nobody sits there playing Call of Duty thinking, this sounds fucking incredible.
No, but games like Star Wars, you do. When you
Exactly.
hear a TIE fighter going over your headset and you're like, Jesus, that's exactly what I want. Yeah. That is exactly what you want, innit? So but I don't understand how Call of Duty ended up winning that one, if I'm being perfectly honest.
That comes down to it. Activision did a marketing magic over it. Activision were the only ones that had press-like meetings. When you sit down, you bring press into your private booths at Gamescom and E3 and wherever. They sat down and they didn't just go, look at these new environments, look at the new map, look, we've got Battle Royale, it's going to kick ass. They did all of that stuff, but then they also had segments on, we've taken audio more serious than any other game has. We have different sounds for bullets hitting metal and concrete and plaster and wood, and this is how the audio works in 3D. And because they did that, they marketed it in a way that they aimed for those awards. They picked them up. So 180 awards, would they have got all of those if it hadn't have been done by Activision? Would the game been as successful if it hadn't been done by Activision? So I mean, I'm not the greatest person to. I'm playing devil's advocate. I expect a bit more of a pushback in favour of Bungie because most people that I know that play Destiny are hugely pro getting rid of Activision. Someone that doesn't know the intricacies of it, I know pretty much the same story as Madge. I got Destiny early, well, at launch, played it for a little bit, crossed over with what Bibby was saying is I didn't have anyone really to play it, so I was kind of playing it solo, and there wasn't that much content for someone that was playing it solo. And the in-game content comes down to the development teams. There wasn't enough in there. And I had to, 6 months later on, when all of that stuff came in, I'd moved on. Destiny has pretty much been sat in this drawer, where it's going to go back right now. And it's pretty much lived there ever since. So that's not hugely down. I mean, obviously Activision are to blame for that as well. But the in-game content and it not being ready and it not being there for 6 months after launch is a development issue. So
yeah,
I'm pretty sure Activision could be saying the same sort of thing themselves, as saying, okay, we were going to give you control over the IP, which is what you wanted from the deal. Because where was it? The Bungie partnership with Activision was made in order for the firm to have control over the IP, as other big players during that period would not agree to do that, including Microsoft. Maybe the fact that Activision didn't control much of the IP at first led to the content coming 6 months after launch, which did hurt the brand and the reputation. They obviously smashed it out of the park after that. And Destiny 2 has had high peaks as well as some troughs as well, but has had high peaks following that. But is that because Activision then stepped in? It's easy to take a headline saying it was as bad as we thought it to be from a big powerhouse money-making conglomerate company like Activision, but it's two sides to every story, I'd imagine.
Absolutely. Again, I think they'll be soured by the person who was speaking to expressing their interview. They'll be soured by the taste that is left in their mouth because their brand may have gone in a different direction than they originally intended. If they've sat in a room and said with Activision, this is where we want it, and they have agreed it and then changed it down the line, that will leave a small sour taste. But I think overall, Activision have done an absolute blinder with this. And this is just from a consumer perspective for someone who didn't play it all that much when it first came out, but has played it since. I think they owe a lot to Activision down the line, whether or not that's through gritted teeth. But I think Activision put them on the map initially. And I think if you are being associated with a brand like that, you know exactly what you're getting into, and they got exactly what they wanted out of it. They may have had a few points that are differed down the line. I think that's par for the course in it. You need to take those decisions in hand, and then your brand is now a superior brand. It's a super brand, shall we say, in the video gaming world. So, yeah, I think they do owe a lot to them.
But
yeah, did you hear that? I was trying to wait until I finished what I was saying and then just pop it out at the end.
I love how RTX hears you go like, yeah, really loud, and it goes, no, you can't have that. You do the slightest of chest burps, and RTX is going, well, everyone's having that one.
I tried. I'm sorry.
Mad says COD audio was fantastic on PC during the original 3 titles period before Battlefield took the ball and ran to another town with it. i.e. really good. I mean, that's the thing. So even that, you're saying the COD audio was good on the older titles, but it was the most recent title that won the best in-game audio award. It was Modern Warfare that won the award for that. But once again, because it was well marketed, Activision included that in their press and media pictures. Because I don't know if anyone knows this. So when a game comes out, and that could be anything from the likes of Destiny through to an indie game, press and media will have meetings behind closed doors where they will see the trailers and stuff that we see. We being public, obviously, I see some of the stuff behind closed doors as well. But yeah, they see what the rest of the world sees, the trailers and so on. But they will have a sit down talk, and usually a presentation with a developer or part of the social teams or part of the content teams. I mean, Vasim's in the chat; he'll be able to vouch for this. He's done many of these presentations for numerous titles, where you look after the press and media in your territory, where you tell them what the game is, what it means, what it attempts to do, or what the aims are for it, and so on. And in one of those meetings, Call of Duty included the audio bit. This is going to be the best game with all of the best audio. And because nobody really goes into a game, apart from audiophiles, nobody goes into a game going, I mean, this looks like it's going to be a great game with a great story, but how does it sound? Nobody has that sort of thought process. So you put that nugget into someone's brain, and then when it comes to the end of the year, which game sounded the best? Journalists are suddenly just hearing this little, best bullets hitting concrete sort of like, oh, it's Call of Duty then. This is what it's going to be. So the reason they're winning these sort of awards and things is because Activision has played a big part in that. So yeah, don't get me wrong, there probably is huge negatives. I mean, the fact that they're coming out and verbally saying it's as bad as we thought it would be, then clearly it wasn't all heaven, and they did clearly bring a lot of shit with them, but it's a necessary evil to take the benefits of such a huge company. Yup says I seen being part of plenty of those, planning at least. Exactly. Man says I say that as I expect the quality of the audio has been of that quality in the newer titles. I didn't play them, but it's not really something the greater public will think of when it comes to the COD experience. Battlefront 2 audio and trailers and demos utterly amazing. Again,
see, the audio does play a big part if you are playing multiplayer, because the amount of times I've watched streamers and their audio is not. It doesn't feel like a 3D surround, and that's exactly what you need when you're playing the likes of Battle Royale or a multiplayer, because you need to know where the opponents are coming from. If the sounds are shit, then you have absolutely no idea. It just becomes a lottery of where they're going to come from. So audio does play a massive part. It's just difficult to be able to do. And if you are getting praise from it, please don't make sure it's a bullet hitting the wall. Make sure it's like a 3D audio of the entire surroundings, rather than just one focusing on, the bullet out of a 9mm sounds a lot different to a sniper rifle bullet. No shit. And we need more. We need, if people are running on glass and you know a window's just gone behind you, that's what you need to be able to. That's where the beauty of audio should come from.
Yeah.
A TIE fighter flying over my head, get that right, mate, and I'm going to be creaming. Do you know what I mean? That needs to be perfect.
And bad audio on modern popular FPSs. I think of a certain band streamer complaining about those things.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you talking about the dog? But I mean, I'm not necessarily saying the COD audio is bad. By the way, just saying that the reason that they were in that conversation without anyone else really factored in is because of Activision's knowledge of how to just go, okay, well, this is how we take yet another award. But yeah, I agree. I mean, particularly the comment about DICE as well. Battlefront 2 audio on the trailers and demo was amazing. Again, the fine folks at DICE doing bits. I mean, the Battlefront 2 was a shambles of a game when it first launched. So EA didn't do a great job with that there, but yeah, absolutely. DICE's audio. Go back through the Battlefield games and through the Battlefront games. Yeah, DICE have absolutely nailed audio. I think Star Wars as a universe offers a bit more from that sort of immersive audio element as well, because you can add things like thermal detonators and which kind of have more like a like implosive sort of, rather than just a boom, it's like a boom, like multiple levels of vibration and stuff. But anyway, forgetting multiple vibrations, before we go down that road, let's move ahead, shall we? Yeah. Next news of the day. Let's go to this one. Okay, take that off the screen and bring this on the screen as the next bit of news, written by Andy Robertson for VGC. Says the next gen game upgrades should be free. Xbox tells developers. Publishing sources reveal a multitude of options for selling Series X games. Xbox has told developers that they cannot charge players to upgrade their current gen games to Xbox Series X versions as DLC as an alternative to its free smart delivery scheme. That's according to publishing sources with knowledge of Microsoft's next gen policies, who told VGC that companies working on cross gen games have been encouraged to offer both current and next gen versions at no additional cost, either via smart delivery or their own schemes such as EA's dual entitlement. However, developers and publishers who choose not to support smart delivery can still offer owners of current gen games a discount on purchasing a second next gen version of the game on the Microsoft Store. Theoretically, third-party publishers could also charge for physical game upgrades via their own schemes, such as via retailer promotions. So far, all games publicly announced as offering the next-gen upgrade, including FIFA 21, Cyberpunk 2077, Destiny 2, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla, are doing so free of charge. However, it's understood Microsoft wants to give publishers and developers a multitude of options for how to sell their games across Xbox One and Xbox Series X, even if they don't adopt its recommended policies. Xbox developers who don't support smart delivery also have the option of selling two-game cross-gen bundles in disc or digital form, which include separate Xbox One and Xbox Series X versions of a game. This is the method 2K has decided to adopt with NBA 2K21, which won't offer any kind of upgrade scheme for current-gen owners looking to jump to next gen, but will sell an £84.99 bundle that includes both the Xbox One and Xbox Series X or PS4 and PS5 versions of the game. In a statement sent to VGC, a Microsoft spokesperson said that developers and publishers ultimately decide how they deliver their games, and we work with them to provide the best possible experience based on their needs. Xbox's Smart Delivery initiative allows consumers to purchase a supported cross-gen game once on either Xbox One or Xbox Series X and unlock the other generation version at no additional cost. This enables players to, for example, purchase Halo Infinite for Xbox One this holiday. Then, if they decide to purchase an Xbox Series X console at a later date, the fully optimized version of Infinite will unlock at no additional cost. This is separate from Xbox Series X backwards compatibility, which allows the next-gen console to run legacy Xbox One games with some performance benefits, but won't offer the same experience as the version built specifically for next-gen hardware, including features such as ray tracing. While all first-party Xbox Game Studio titles will support smart delivery, third parties can choose whether to support it or not. Cross-gen games that do not support smart delivery will be treated separately within the Xbox ecosystem, VGC was told, with only certain Xbox Live elements such as multiplayer unifying the generational versions. For example, both NBA 2K21 and FIFA 21, which operate outside of the smart delivery ecosystem, do not share certain save data across generations. In comparison, smart delivery games will share a single SKU, all Xbox Live elements, including saves, achievements, and more, and launch the correct versions for each console, regardless of which generation's game disc is inserted. Because of the way cross-gen game SKUs work, VGC was told that games that do not support smart delivery upon release on Xbox One and Series X will not be able to then add support for the scheme at a later date. My God, I'm struggling now. This does not include games that support smart delivery but have staggered releases, such as Cyberpunk 2077, which will release on Xbox One first and then on Series X in 2021. We're almost at the end. While PlayStation is reportedly not pushing its own smart delivery style initiative and instead leaving next-gen upgrades entirely up to developers, so far PS5 games have matched Xbox free upgrade policy. When it releases in 2021, Grand Theft Auto Online will be available on PS5 for free for a short period before being sold as a standalone game. Marvel's Avengers, Cyberpunk 2077 and FIFA 21 will also offer free upgrades from PS4 to PS5. A Microsoft spokesperson told VGC, at Xbox, the player is at the center of everything we do, which is why we've committed to supporting the exclusive Xbox Game Studio titles, including Halo Infinite, with smart delivery, providing the best available version for whichever console you choose to play on. It will be up to individual developers to determine whether they implement smart delivery, and they can choose to use it for that title. For titles that will release on Xbox One first and come to Xbox Series X later. Okay, we'll leave that there because the end. Oh no, it still keeps going. In addition, developer feedback was a top priority when the team created Xbox Series X and the development tools that go with it, which means the tools used to build games on Xbox Series X are the exact tools used to build games on Windows 10, PC, Xbox One, and the cloud. This makes it as easy as possible for developers to ship games across multiple devices while taking advantages of the unique capabilities of the specific device that they're on. This is also why we offer a suite of features and capabilities in how to distribute content, including smart delivery for developers to take advantage of on Xbox. However, developers and publishers ultimately decide how do they deliver their games, and we work with them to provide the best possible experience based on their needs. That was a read and a half, that one, but it was... While I sort of discussing now, Bib, thoughts?
Well, it's an awful lot to digest in there, as you can imagine. I just see him. It didn't seem that long an article when we was preparing the show this morning. Graham 2020.
That's the first time I've read it. You can tell I was getting my haircut, can't
you? So yeah, I mean, the bar's been set really for free upgrades. It's just whether or not every studio wants to do that. I mean, that's the long and short of this article. Will third parties want to cash in more? That's what I want to know. Because I know a lot of them may want to do that. They want you to buy it twice. I don't know. I think this is one of them. It's nice to know, but we're gonna have to wait and see. I don't know what more. Like FIFA, Cyberpunk, Destiny, and Assassin's Creed are doing a free of charge upgrade. That's fantastic. They're 4 massive games. Are the games that are going to cost £25 or £30 or £35 going to do both? Are they going to give you the free upgrade? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think this is almost like a twice, yeah. Twice. So that's a quality gift, by the way. If anyone doesn't know what that was, then I'm not going to explain it. You're just going to have to live your life without knowing. Good morning, Grazzy, as well. Welcome into the stream. Welcome in.
Morning, Grazzy.
Yeah, this is a. It's one of those things because when you say games should be free, I mean, they're discussing now. I didn't have the space to add who it comes from the quote, but it's from Xbox. Next gen upgrade should be free, says Xbox, which is a snippet, a soundbite that any consumer would get behind. What, I get better stuff for free? Yes, they should be. I agree. But that's fine when we speak about Cyberpunk 2077, when we speak about FIFA 21 and games of that size, because studios of that size and that scale can absorb some of the cost. They can have multiple teams creating, essentially working from the same hymn sheet. So one of them's making a bit of code for one system that can be tweaked for the next system. And yeah, okay, they can absorb some of the cost and they can make it free, smart delivery wise. I do feel that there is maybe by putting that out and hammering that as much as it has been, is kind of saying, I mean, it says it like 3 times in this article. I've got right down to the end line because it said it again at the end. However, developers and publishers ultimately decide how they deliver their games, and we work with them to provide the best possible experiences based on their needs. I mean, that's probably a more important soundbite. Let's forget the fact that we all want the better stuff for free, because we all do. Publishers and developers aren't all Activisions and aren't all EAs. Some of them are smaller, and even some of the ones that aren't small on paper, at least in your mind, don't necessarily have the free income to go, okay, well, we will develop it for two different systems. And then we will give you one for free, because that is an extra development period. That's more resources needed. Or you have the one budget that you then have to split across two games. You then have the potential of an inferior product across two systems. So I am massively behind smart delivery, because it's pro-consumer, and it's hugely beneficial to anyone that's going to get a console this year, or even mid next year, when games are being made across two generations. Obviously, by a year, maybe 2 years ahead, that won't really be relevant. But yeah, right now, pushing developers to use Xbox's smart delivery system or something online with that, Xbox is channeling the fight, but almost at the expense of developers, because I mean, nobody really knows how it works. So we've got some idea, but we kind of don't, do we? Is it? I mean, I don't know. So yeah,
I have a feeling there's one line in this article, and I think this may be the way that most. Well, I don't want to say most. I think some developers are going to go down. It's about halfway down. It says this method 2K has decided to adopt with NBA 2K21, which won't offer any kind of upgrade scheme for current gen owners looking to jump to the next gen, but it will sell $84.99 or $99.99 bundle that includes both Xbox One and Xbox Series X or PS4 and PS5 versions of the game. So if you was to buy NBA 2K21 whenever it comes out, say it comes out in August, when the new console comes out in December, you'll be able to download the digital version of that game. When you boot up your console, the brand new version of the game, I imagine you will be able to move your save over with that as well, so you don't have to start everything again. I think that's the clearer choice that I think some developers and publishers will go down.
Yeah, I mean, I would be happy. However, really, depending on, I mean, it depends on its perceived value for me. If it's a game that's huge, that is worth buying twice, all right, then that's okay. I'm blurry. We just dropped something in the floor. But 1 second. If it's a game that's huge and worth buying twice, that's fine. Buy it twice. If it's a game that's huge and the developers say, okay, well, we can absorb some of the costs so that you don't have to buy it twice and you can get smart delivery or our own version of it, that's fine as well. If a game does an Assassin's Creed 4 and says, okay, you can get the upgrade at a discounted price, because Microsoft said that potentially is available, so you can buy the game on the PS4 and you can get a discount on the marketplace to buy it on the PS5, that's fine. Do you know, I'm happy with any of this, really. Smart delivery is a huge positive for a consumer, but it's also a signpost. It's something that is being hammered a lot because it's a good marketing message, and I'm not bothered about good marketing messages. I'm bothered about the best experience for me as a gamer, and the best experience for me as a gamer that's buying from the developers that I want to be financially stable enough to bring me a good game and future games. Because if it's undercutting them, the game's going to be shit because they're cutting corners, or they might collapse and not get another one. So as long as we get the happy medium balance across all of it, smart delivery is nice. And I want that. I want that for everything. And I would like PlayStation to do their version of smart delivery if it happens. But I'm not hanging my hat on that being a big signpost in this war of consoles is one better than the other because you get free upgrades, because it's not necessarily the best for everyone. It's pro-consumer, but it's not necessarily the best for the consumer if it's not enacted in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do something streamers never done before by playing every game without any volume whatsoever. Good luck with that. Not sure you'll get very far in a battle royale.
Well, on Fortnite you can, because you can put the visualizer sound around you, which is massive, by the way. If you haven't done that on Fortnite, you definitely should.
Yeah, I do that even with the audio on, just so I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and good luck with SingStar. I mean,
well, I'm tone deaf anyway, so that works for me.
Anyway, let's move ahead. Smart delivery once again. is a thing that Xbox wants to take off, and it does want to encourage more developers to use it. Although there will still be a long conversation on that because we don't know if it's enforced and it isn't enforced, or we do know it isn't enforced. We don't know how it works and what the alternatives will be, but there will be ways to get games across multiple gens, whether it's buying bundles, whether it's buying cheaper upgrades, whether it's just getting the free smart delivery or what. It will all become clearer as we get to it, but no doubt expect different games from different publishers to have different systems rather than it just being a one-size-fits-all, because I don't think that kind of works in that sort of sense. Anyway, next article. This is one that Bibby retweeted yesterday. If you follow him on Twitter, we've got Bibby and you will have seen this. But Mafia Definitive Edition delayed to September 25th. Written by Stephany for VG 24/7. Don't have an issue with this myself personally, but we'll jump into that. We'll jump onto the thoughts and stuff afterwards. But due to challenges stemming from COVID-19 pandemic, Mafia's Definitive Edition's release date has shifted from August the 28th. Mafia Definitive Edition has been delayed to September 25th, 2K Games announced today. And the quote in the article says, though we'd originally planned to release the game 1 month earlier, on August the 28th, finalising everything in time for that launch date has become increasingly challenging due to the ongoing global COVID-19 pandemic. And the last thing we want to do is compromise the quality of the experience, said Manga 13 in a statement. From the beginning, this has been a passion project for us. Many of our developers helped create the original Mafia, and all of us are committed to crafting an updated experience worthy of that timeless classic. We appreciate your patience and understanding as we make Mafia Definitive Edition the very best it can be for all of our fans worldwide. A gameplay reveal trailer will be released on July the 22nd, and Mafia Definitive Edition will be released on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. I mean, it's the same message that we've hammered multiple times this year. Fine, that's fine. Take your time. Yeah. Take your time. Anyone, and I did see some people negative shit posting yesterday.
What, on the internet?
Yeah, no, I mean, imagine. But if the game's not ready, you will be a negative shit poster. So they take away the ability for you to be a negative shit poster about the game being shit, and then give you a game that's fine and fixed and the game that they want to deliver. LB1 Kenobi, what a name. Thank you very much for the follow this morning. How are you doing? And may the force be with you. So yeah, I mean, do you know what? Fair play. Take all the time you need. I'm playing through Mafia 2. Me and Danielle, we've got episode 3 coming this week. Maybe even tonight, I don't know. We'll see. We'll add it to the schedule, which you can find on our Twitch down below by clicking on our logo and things. Bibby posted an image of the schedule on the Ice Cream Plus Twitter account on Monday, so feel free to check that if you don't know what it is. But anyway, going on tangent, we're playing through Mafia 2. We have Mafia 3 to follow that, and we have the Definitive Edition already lined up in Steam, so when it's available, we will get it. The fact that I'm not going to be playing it on August the 28th is no stress. If it is, then check yourself. My God. This delay ruined my life. How dare they, says Asim Tanvi. I know, right? I mean, imagine. Need a pitchfork? Says Madge. Asim says, yes, please. This looks to be a super remake, so happy to wait. It looks incredible, genuinely. I mean, playing through Mafia 2, which I've never done before, is magic. And part of the reason for using that word is because Magic Man is in the chat and he was in the stream when we were playing it. But having the immersive, like we're talking game audio. Obviously, the game audio is not like world-beating audio scale because it's a huge like open worldy sort of game. But the game audio of having like the radio stations and the music and the accents and the themes of the time is cool. And I've never played it before. So going through Mafia 2, which is remastered, I'm enjoying. Looking forward to Mafia 3 remastered as well. But seeing something completely remade from the ground up, yes. I mean, I'm on board for that all day. And if people can't wait an extra month for it, then at this point of the year, if you can't wait an extra month for a game, I mean, we waited about 12 months later for The Last of Us, probably not that much, but still, at this point, if you're not used to it, then what the hell have you been doing? I noticed as a previous owner of Mafia 2, I got the new version for free. Yeah, I mean, that is class. That is class as well. LB1 Kenobi says, rather have a working, complete game than a mess that needs patches. I mean, that is the most obvious statement in the world, LB. And do you know what? The reason you've got to that point is because you are a functional, normal person. Imagine rather than it's like saying, okay, here's your new car. We can either give it you now, and there's a good chance the brakes won't work and you'll die, or we can give it you in 3 to 4 weeks and the brakes are going to be solid. What would you want? And you're like, well, I'm not going to take something that's faulty as fuck and potentially ruin myself. So, Graham GIF.
I mean, I don't think I've ever heard that analogy before, but it works.
I mean,
so.
it's probably not a flawless analogy, but you get the point. You get the point. So yeah, there you go. There you go. Don't die. Instead, wait another month for your game. Job's good. So yeah, I mean, do you know what? Let's for those of you that may have missed it, Mafia remake. I don't. I was trying to find the side by side. There we go. It's only a YouTube thumbnail. I've just typed Mafia remake into YouTube, so not the greatest image selection. But look at that. Look at that. That's 2000. Oh, let me see if I can get my pointer, clicker, mouse, jabby. That's 2002. That's all right. It's reasonable for a 2002 game. 18 years old, and then look at how good that looks. That's incredible. So yeah, do you know what? If I have to wait another month to play something that looks that good, then that's fine by me. I'm on board for that all day. Yes, please. Yes, please. Anyway, Fourth Wheel supplied a separate DLC. Exactly, there you go. Sorry, we've only fixed 3 out of the 4 wheels, so yeah, you'll get the other one a little bit later on. That look good, says Madge. It does look class. It does look class. I'll see if I can find a bigger image of it. There you go, that's it. Ta-da! Anyway, next news and final news. Just so that we can have a little bit more time to discuss this, we obviously went over it quickly at the end of the stream yesterday before we jumped into the Masters of the League, but we didn't have enough time for anyone to offer their thoughts in chat. So now would be a good time to give you guys an opportunity to have your say, because no doubt we have a lot of passionate voices on this, judging on the games that we've played and where we come from as a channel. But Pez loses the AC Milan and Inter Milan licenses, written by Yin-Poole for Eurogamer, and this is the best article of the day, only because of this. Goal Hey, Wesley and Pools. He does love a good
Funny guy, innit?
Yeah, he's a funny guy. Pez has lost its license for Italian football clubs AC Milan and Inter Milan. Konami has announced both clubs appear in PES 2020 officially licensed, and their representation in that game won't change, Konami stressed. Nor will this license loss affect acquired Michael players, which can be used as normal in game. However, it very much sounds like both clubs will have to have fake names in PES 2021, which is, so far unannounced but expected later this year. In regards to other Konami football games, please wait for future announcements for each title, is all Konami said in its statement. Moving forwards, we will continue to strengthen existing partnerships and foster new relationships in order to provide the best possible football experience, eFootball experience. Thank you again for your support and understanding. The obvious thought is EA Sports has done a deal with both Italian giants for the clubs to appear exclusively in FIFA 21 and beyond. PES was thought of a stronghold for Italy's top league. In August 2019, Konami announced PES 2020 had an official license for Serie A. The deal means PES 2020 has all the official logos, trophies, and badges from Italy's top league. Konami also has exclusive rights for Serie A champions Juventus, which forced FIFA 20 to rename Juve to Piedmont Calcio, and Juve midfielder Miralem Pjanic is on the cover of PES 2020 alongside Barcelona's Lionel Messi. He's actually not a Juve midfielder for very long, but there we go. EA Sports is very much still in control of football video game licenses, of course, and FIFA 20 also has a license for Serie A among many other leagues. So everyone in the chat, obviously we covered this yesterday. What are your thoughts to PES losing AC Milan and Inter Milan licenses? What are your thoughts, Bib?
As a certain Man United fan on a TV fan channel many years ago, don't care, not bothered, doesn't bother me whatsoever. A license is a license. There will always be ways around it, for better or for worse. So again, it doesn't bother me. I don't know why it becomes that much of a problem, because we have agents in the game from unlicensed clubs anyway. Fair enough, we may lose the face scans, we may lose the stadium, but I mean, if you're playing on PC, all of those things become irrelevant anyway. But yeah, it doesn't bother me one bit. We've been toying with licenses. If you've been around the PES community for a number of years, licenses come and go. It's never changed the way that you'll play the game. So for me, it's just another one of those things for FIFA fans to go about. Was it? I don't know if it was you or something that I seen on social media yesterday saying that when FIFA ended up when PES ended up taking the Juventus license last year, all the FIFA fans was going after Konami, saying that we're going to like burn the house down and stuff like that. I don't know who it was that I seen
No,
on Twitter saying that yesterday.
I mentioned it in the scoop, so someone else could have mentioned it, but I mentioned it in the scoop, saying that it's funny because there's a lot of fickleness and short memories when it comes to licenses. So PES has licenses taken away from it. FIFA fans are like, yay! PES takes Juve license. FIFA fans are like, fuck you! And this isn't just a PES thing. This happens both ways. I mean, there are people that do that on both sides of the fence. But yeah, so now FIFA have done it back and taken exclusive things last year, but people weren't just like "fuck you." It was the sort of the emotional high. What's the word? Standing on the soapbox, taking the higher ground, saying, "Do you know what? It's not nice for a team to come in and take away Juve out of the game because you're just ruining that gameplay experience. The fact that we can't have them and we have to play as Piedmont Calcio ruins the gameplay experience for us as players." And it's like, mate, that's been going on for 10 years on each way. Some like having the Champions League in PES and then not having it in PES and having only the Premiership, apart from 10% of it in FIFA because we're only allowed 10% in PES kind of thing. In that sort of say. Yeah, I mean, let's jump into the chat. Asim says, as I said on Twitter yesterday, I always preferred Lombardia and Marche playing at the Lombardia Coliseum anyway. Iceman says, to be honest, would have been losing the stadium soon anyway if the clubs got their way. It needs a fresh lick of paint. To be fair, that stadium. I was telling Bibby, I think this not too long ago. But was it last week even?
Yeah,
I was
saying
it
was from
saying the San Siro was the majestic stadium. Do you know when you're watching like ITV on a Wednesday night to watch Champions League before it got like obviously VT'd and shit, and you're like a kid watching these big European nights, and obviously there was the Bernabeu and the Camp Nou, and I've been to Camp Nou anyway, which was obviously amazing. But the San Siro was always the one that had the atmosphere that just was amazing. Anyway, I got there and it was huge and concrete. I was like, ugh.
Huge and concrete. What a way to describe it.
Do you know, that's pretty much it. It was massive. It was massive, and you think, oh, it's going to be this huge thing, and it was huge, but it just wasn't. It wasn't pretty. It was a bit gammy. It was huge, dirty, and concrete. Yeah, that's what it was. And like you compare that, we went to, I think that was 2016 final, maybe I don't know, but 2015 final in Berlin. The stadium in Berlin was just incredible. That was an old stadium that had been redone and like sandblasted, whatever, and it looked phenomenal. And San Siro just not so much. The car park was like when you go to a dodgy fairground that just like pops up over the Easter bank holiday, and there's usually like some sort of like scatty decomposing car park. When I say decomposing, like the surface is all cracked. It's like a road that's got potholes and stuff like that. That was the car parks for the San Siro, and you're like, this is the home to two of the biggest clubs in Europe, but in the same city at the same stadium. It should be much better than it is, but it wasn't. Anyway, on a tangent. I'm not bothered about it, says Madge. If I were a fan of either club and a PES fan, then I might be upset or something.
Well, I'm a City fan, and City have never been sponsored in the game. They've never been featured at all. They've never had the kits ever. Never had proper face scans ever in the game, and I've never once thought, do you know what? Don't fancy PES this year. I'm just going to play FIFA all year because they've got the licenses. They've got the Etihad scanned in the game. They are an official partner of the club in FIFA, so I'm just going to play that. And that has never once crossed my mind. I play PES for the gameplay. Fair enough. There's a lot of instances where me and you are playing on Masters of the League, and it has been absolutely toilet. We've found gameplay patches that have made our experience a lot better than the game that's out of the box. I'm playing 10v10 in a league and internationally, and that more often than not, there's so many glitches in the game, like the corner glitch, the kickoff glitch, and stuff like that. That does ruin the experience, but a license has never come into that. Do you know what I mean? I'm not fucking playing this because of license. Licensing is the very, very bottom of the list of things that I want changing in the game for better or for worse.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, As a United fan, I've seen United come and go and come back again in PES. I've gone from having a Manchester United steelbook on PES 2014, I think it is, to oh no United in the next game kind of thing. I've had the peaks and the troughs, but it doesn't matter when you've got communities that can get behind that stuff. Then that doesn't bother me. The bit that bothers me around that though is I imagine Lely's not in the chat. He is occasionally, but I'm imagining he's not here now. One of the things that Lely did mention yesterday. Was he was talking about it shows you the state of PES if Inter Milan and AC Milan jump ship. Never, ever believe that a brand jumps ship because of gameplay. Inter Milan and AC Milan, the people that are signing those decisions and write those decisions will have never played the game. It's commercial. It's entirely commercially based. I mean, don't get me wrong, you have to have some alignments in your brand, but a football game and a football club, there's not really much that you can't align there, so that's fine. So don't think that they would go, oh, well, we're making a stance against this gameplay, that's why we're going to FIFA. No, it would be, okay, that huge stack of cash is making me go in that direction. So
yeah, I mean, I tweeted something very similar yesterday. I was having a conversation with a few people, like the people who are making the decisions at the football club will just want their brand guidelines being adhered to in the game. They'll want the kits, they'll want the badges in certain places, they'll want to be named correctly. Apart from that, I don't think they give a shit about how many times their agents are being used in the game. They won't care about if you're playing fucking. If you've got the featured Kaká, the iconic moment Kaká, and you're not playing them left wing, they won't give a shit about that. They'll just want their guidelines to be adhered to and how much they're getting paid for it. That's ultimately all they care about. They're not bothered about how you play the game or what's inside it, as long as their guidelines are being adhered to. If someone else is offering them more money elsewhere, very much like we did with Juventus this year, to not have them be available in FIFA and be exclusive to PES, that's all Juventus care about. They're getting a shitload of money, and PES is winning that brand war against FIFA.
exactly. I mean,
That's all it comes down to.
Juventus is a good one because Juventus currently sit at the top of Serie A. Yes, they lost last night to AC Milan, which is quite ironic, really, having this conversation. But Juventus sit at the top of Serie A. If it was a case of jumping ship, and another thing that was mentioned in that conversation was Borussia Dortmund. Ending their contract early. It wasn't because they were jumping ship. They just got a really good offer and wanted to buy into FIFA esports systems, which was a commercial decision. So they did that on the back of chasing commercial success in that sort of way. They weren't just worried about, oh, well, we'll take this money in the hand. They were doing it from an esports. Borussia Dortmund saw commercial opportunities in esports and went for it. So yeah, the fact that the license has gone, where's LB1 Kenobi's comment? We can fix our own license issues anyway, so it's never been an issue. 100%. I was adding in teams on PES 6 on my Xbox 360 manually, drawing them pixel by pixel, using Demos as like pixel by pixel guides before we figured out ways to get content into it. So I mean, I've been doing that for a million years, and forget my half-assed attempts at drawing them dot by dot. We've got the likes of PES Worlds, PES Universe, PESPatch.com, and a million other sites out there that will help you. I mean, that we use loads of them. Checking out our Discord, exclamation mark Discord, if Chatbot is alive, will give you. It's not. It's nice prod. But exclamation mark Discord give it a couple of minutes just because we want Chatbot to suddenly just feel like it's welcome in the room and Bibby's not logging in or anything. But
it's just gone for a brew.
Yeah. But in our Discord, we post links to Soccer Fandom or whatever, which is places where you can get player faces and so on like that because players are in the game. For PES, it's not that big a deal, and you can tell the people that want it to be because true PES players, it's never been a bigger deal. And it's the people that want it to be a deal are trying to make it into one. But for anyone in here that is a true PES player, like LB said, not bothered about it, whatever, we can fix our own license. Like, yeah, Madge says, I'm not bothered about it. LB, we can fix our own license issues. It's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal, really.
Well, the one thing that the one set of fans that I do feel sorry for is the Xbox community because they don't have the option to be able to mod anything in, which is a bit of a stinker. Everything they have to do is all manual. There's no way of them actually being able to do it. So for that area of playing PES, I do feel for them because there's no way that they can change anything. For everything else, we can do all that shit ourselves. But is that being able to play with these licensed team is bad for the casual players who just want to be able to just put the disc in and just play. And when I say casual players, I mean people who just aren't fussed about getting the very best. They just want to play a football game, and PES is their preferred game of choice. They'll just want to be able to put the disc in and play as Man Blue versus Manchester United or the water players, West London Whites versus Liverpool or whoever it may be. Those type of guys will see that as a little bit of a problem because they're now losing 2 licenses. Who knows who may end up getting into the game license wise later on in the year? But something's just come to my mind. Inter and AC don't have esports teams, do they? In PES, they're not in eFootball Pro, are they?
I don't think so, but I'm not 100%.
I wonder if this has been on the table for a while because I think they're one of the only 2 partner clubs in Europe that don't have an esports team that aren't in eFootball Pro. It'll be interesting if they do end up having FIFA esports teams.
Yeah, I imagine they potentially would do. Do you know what? I don't know enough, and I'd probably be saying stuff that I either don't know or I'm saying stuff that I probably shouldn't say, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Let's move ahead. Asim says, I can speak freely now, but PES has to be better on the pitch, offline and online, and with mods / content, not licenses. 100%. Was never an issue in its hugely successful days, and I don't really think it would be now. Here, Asim Tambia says much. Do you know, I think that's it. That's it. True PES fans don't really care about it. Obviously, the casual gamer does care about it, and like Baby says, players that are just not PES players coming into it and seeing. I mean, we see it at events when you see Man Red versus Man Blue, and the 8-year-old kids suddenly start taking the piss because that's like the equivalent of wearing your Reduc trainers and your Umdro or whatever, or wearing your Mikeys and stuff like that. I mean, the kids see it as a fake knockoff. Get that. There is a little bit of magic in seeing, like, when, I mean, create your own thoughts about him or not, but when Kurt played FIFA, moved to PES from FIFA when he was banned from it earlier on in the year, there was a magic in seeing everyone from FIFA, seeing how easy it is to add an option file to PES, and this is console stuff, not even, and how far you can go with that, not even factoring in PC and what you can do with that. There is a magic when people start to see, oh, actually, I feel like this is, look at how cool this is. I'm fully customizing the game. Is there for me to make my own, not just to take my cash off me. So there is magic in seeing that, but yeah, I think PES, for us, from my perspective, shouldn't lose shouldn't lose focus on the fact that it lives on that hardcore community, and when that hardcore community infects the wider community, that's good, rather than just chasing the licenses for the wider community, because then that way you're not focusing on your hardcore community. And if we lose an AC Milan, if we lose an Inter Milan, but we get, as Asim says, mods and content in it, then that's surely where the greener grass, pun intended, is supposed to be. San Siro Day was a shades required experience when playing there. Realistic, but not that pleasant. You've played at the San Siro match?
Yeah, you learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Just one sec. It's ringing me here. Christ knows what this is. One sec.
Okay. The San Siro is heading for demolition because both clubs want a new stadium. Yeah, I know. You can see it. There's a lot of like on the 4 corners of it. There's like them big round pillars, and they're basically round walkways where you go up to them. I think City has something similar as well. But cities look nice, whereas the rotate, like walking round carousel things, are just big concrete monstrosities. Yeah, it needs at very least some sort of fascia-ing to it. But yeah, I can understand why they'd want to flatten and put it back there as well. Asim says, yeah, was there for one of the UCL finals. Such an old and concrete stadium. Gee, is right. Exactly. Old and concrete. San Siro was gamming during the Football Italia days. Heaven forbid how bad it is now. Yeah. I mean, I just don't. I didn't want to see Wembley go. And then we got New Wembley. And I'm like, oh, this is actually really nice. I don't ever want to see anything. I didn't want to see Highbury go, but then we got the Emirates, which is class. So, yeah. It's just progress. I'm an old man that doesn't like change, so I don't want to see San Siro go. But if it gets a proper nice football stadium that ties in some of that heritage, then you know what? Tis what tis. Get it going. These teams don't sign deals for quality of gameplay, so that statement is just pure wrong. I've been in meetings, trust me. It's more about how the club brand is used and what exposure the partnerships can bring, i.e. Asian market. 100%. That is it. And how many times? Do you know what? We need 100% emote, because that's what I say all the time at the moment. 100%. 100%. But yeah, that's it. 100%. the teams aren't really bothered about the gameplay. They would like it to be winning awards for gameplay and everything, no doubt, as would the people that make all the games. But yeah, it's commercial success. That's what it is. A large chunk of cash for the license, yes, please. Access to a new market and Konami running campaigns with AC Milan as the headline brand in all of Japan, yes, please. We'll take that too. So yeah, that's where it is. That's where it is. Is Discord in? Discord is sleeping. Wake it. Get up. But anyway,
We're working now.
yeah, I'm just reading Madge's comment in the chat.
Oh, okay.
It's got order. There we go. So if you have any worries, any thoughts, any queries about PES losing the AC Milan license, we do have a PES section of our Discord, mainly because we have a PES series here on Twitch, which is Masters of the League, which will be going live imminently as soon as we finish this stream, once we've got set for it. But within that, we do have sections for modding. So if you're on PC, feel free to look in that and see all of the mods that we have. So we have Sky Sports graphics, tattoos, player packs, stadiums, shitloads. So feel free to check all of that out if you want. Also, if you're on community on console and you want to know how to add option files and stuff, feel free to ask questions in there. The best thing about the PES community is that they're happy to share. So feel free to do that. If you're playing with Man Blue, then the community will get you sorted out in no time, mate. That was a bad attempt at referencing Pulp Fiction. I knew it was a reference. I just didn't know which one it was. Is Discord in? Discord is sleeping. Weak it. I only remember the say what again, motherfucker, and the obvious ones like if any pricks move, execute every motherfucking last one of you. Anyway, that's the end of the show. If we're jumping into Pulp Fiction quotes, then you know we've overstayed our welcome. We are going to disappear, though. We are going to drop off. We're going to come back on this channel right here with some PES content. So if you want to see some PES 2020 gameplay live from the ICU arena, then feel free to come back as myself and Baby once again step into our management shoes at Ice Cream Uploads FC. We went on an unbeaten run. We sit at the top of the Premiership in our first season. Everything is majestic for us right now. Doesn't necessarily mean it will continue, but we are closing in on the January transfer window, and we could do with the help of you guys giving us some targets, helping us choose who we spend our money on if we want to strengthen the team. Anyway, all of the club running decisions we don't just do on our own, we do with you guys in the chat. So please feel free to stick around. We will go off air now, but we will come back on and you can help us influence the future of the club. But before we do that, Bib, is there anything you want to throw in here?
Yes, of course. If you do see any video game news knocking around the social media platform of your choice, then do not fear. You can get in contact with us. Two ways you can do that. First of all, find us on social media. It's at Ice Cream Uploads across absolutely everything. And second of all, you can join us on our Discord as well, which the link has just been placed into the chat for you. All you need to do is just put in the link to the article, your thoughts and opinions. We will then give our thoughts and opinions in the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day?
10 a.m.
Ish. 10 a.m. ish. There's always the ish. We're usually before 11, probably after 10. You're probably not going to be at 10, but 10 a.m. ish. That's just the way it is here on Ice Cream Uploads. We keep it casual, but if you've got us, like if you follow us with notifications on, you get notified either way. So that's how you find out. That's how you find out. Anyway, we are gone. We will be back in about 10-15 with brews and a whole lot of energy for the 23rd episode of Masters of the League. Don't worry if you've not seen anything before. We'll bring you up to speed at the start of it, and we can all move on from there. So yeah, see you in 10-15. Nice. Unless you listen on YouTube or on demand, then you know what? We'll just check it out on YouTube. Anyway, thank you very much for being in. Have yourselves a fantastic day. And if we don't see you in 10-15, stay frosty.